I never believed in this marriage. Not even on the day I stood beside her in that quiet hall. "Smile," her father said softly, not kindly. "I am smiling," I replied. People stared at me like I'd won a lottery. Some looked jealous. Others looked disgusted. I felt both and pretended to feel neither. "She won't speak," her aunt whispered nearby. "Ever." "I know," I said. Inside my head, I added, "That's the point." She stood beside me in a simple white dress, hands folded, eyes lowered. She didn't tremble. She didn't cry. She just listened. Everyone said she couldn't talk, but no one said she couldn't hear. "Do you accept this marriage?" the officiant asked. "I do," I said quickly. They waited. She nodded once. That was it. My future secured with a nod. Later, in the mansion that felt more like a hotel, a maid showed us to our room. "Congratulations, sir," she said. "Thank you," I replied. The door closed. Silence filled the space like water. "You don't have to say anything," I told my wife. "I know you can't." She looked at me then, really looked at me. Her eyes were calm, almost curious. I laughed to ease my nerves. "This is strange, huh? Two people who barely know each other." She sat on the edge of the bed, still silent. In my head, I spoke freely. "At least I don't have to pretend here. At least she won't argue." "You must be tired," I said aloud. "Big day." She nodded again. A knock came. "Dinner is ready," a servant said. We sat at a long table meant for 10. "She eats little," the maid whispered to me. "That's fine," I said. I thought, less trouble. I tried conversation anyway. "So, do you like the house?" She paused, then nodded. I smiled, satisfied. "See? Easy." I walked around the room, touching expensive furniture. "Your family really went all out." She watched me. "They warned me," I continued. "They said marrying you wouldn't be easy." I scoffed quietly. In my mind, I corrected them. Easy money is always easy. Her father knocked and entered without waiting. "Treat her with respect," he said. "Of course," I replied. His eyes lingered on me, sharp and measuring. "She understands more than you think." I smiled. "I'm sure." He left. I exhaled. Intense guy. She tilted her head. "I guess we should set some rules," I said. "I won't expect anything from you. You won't expect anything from me." In my thoughts, I added, "This is perfect." I sat across from her. "You don't mind, right?" She didn't answer. I took that as agreement. People always assume silence means consent. I leaned back. I wasn't looking for love anyway. Her fingers tightened slightly on her dress. I noticed, but I didn't care. "I just wanted peace," I continued. "No drama. No fighting." In my head, I smiled. No voice means no complaints. She stood and walked to the window. "Beautiful view," I said. She didn't turn. I watched her reflection in the glass. Calm. Distant. I felt something then, a faint discomfort, but I pushed it down. "This will work," I told myself. I told her too. "This will work." She finally faced me again. Her eyes held something I couldn't read. I thought, she's lucky. I'm kind enough. She reached for a notebook on the table and wrote slowly. I leaned forward, curious. She turned it toward me. It read, "I hear everything." I laughed. "I know. You hear sounds." She shook her head once, gently. I waved it off. "Don't worry. I'll take care of things." Inside, I felt proud. Smarter. In control. I didn't realize I'd already lost something. I just didn't know what yet. She closed the notebook. I stood up. "Get some rest." She hesitated, then nodded. As she lay down, I thought, this is the start of an easy life. I said aloud, "Good night." She looked at me one last time before turning away. That look lingered. I ignored it. I told myself feelings were for people who struggled. I told myself comfort was enough. I told myself silence meant safety. I was wrong, but that truth hadn't found me yet. I believed I had chosen wisely. I believed I was smarter than love. I believed money could replace warmth. I believed her silence protected me. Every belief felt solid then. Every belief would later break, slowly, painfully, without mercy in the end completely. I woke up to silk sheets and silence. "Morning," I said, testing the word. She was already awake, sitting by the window. "You don't sleep much, do you?" I asked. She turned slightly and shook her head. I smiled. Must be nice not needing an alarm. Inside my mind, I thought, she doesn't even have a job to wake up for. A maid knocked. "Breakfast is ready, sir." "Tell them we're coming," I said. She stood when I stood, always a step behind me. At the table, plates appeared without us asking. "Eat," I said. "You barely touched dinner last night." She picked up her spoon. "You don't have to listen to me," I added softly. "I'm just talking." I thought, talking to myself, really. She ate slowly. I ate quickly. "This place is ridiculous," I said. "I could live here forever." She glanced up. "I mean, not in a bad way," I corrected. "Comfort is good. Comfort is everything," I thought. Later, we walked through the garden. "Your parents really planned everything," I said. "Even the flowers feel expensive." She bent to touch one. "You like them?" I asked. She nodded. "That's good," I said. "You don't need much, do you?" In my head, I finished the sentence. "Unlike me." We sat on a bench. I leaned back. "People think I married you for money." She looked at me. "I mean, they're not wrong," I joked lightly. My laugh sounded hollow. She didn't react. "Sorry," I said. "That was rude." Inside, I shrugged. She won't remember. We went inside again. The house felt too big. Too quiet. "Do you ever get bored?" I asked. She paused, then nodded slowly. "Me too," I said. "But boredom is better than struggle." I thought, at least for me. In the afternoon, I checked my phone while she read. "No messages," I muttered. She looked up. "I guess people think I'm busy now," I said. "Or untouchable." I smirked. Untouchable sounds nice. She closed her book and watched me. "What?" I asked. She tilted her head. "Nothing," I said. "Forget it." I stood. "I'm going to shower." As the water ran, my thoughts grew louder. This is it. Easy life. No arguments. No expectations. At dinner, I spoke more than usual. "You know," I said, "some men would hate this." She listened. "They'd say marriage needs passion." I scoffed. "Passion fades." I looked at her. "Stability doesn't." In my mind, I added, "especially when it's paid for." She set her fork down. "You okay?" I asked. She nodded. "Good." Night came quickly. We sat on opposite sides of the bed. "You can sleep first," I said. "I'll turn off the light." She lay down without a word. I stared at the ceiling. Why do I feel empty? I frowned. It must be the silence. I turned toward her. "You don't talk much." That was stupid. I knew it. I sighed. "I mean, I know you can't." Inside my head, I complained freely. If she could talk, at least I'd feel noticed. She shifted slightly. "You're probably happier this way," I said. "No pressure." I thought, no expectations for me. I closed my eyes. I imagined telling her everything. How lonely I felt. How invisible I was. How this luxury felt borrowed. But I kept those words inside. I believed thoughts were harmless. I believed silence meant ignorance. I believed she couldn't hear what I never said. Next to me, she lay awake. I didn't see her eyes open in the dark. I didn't see her expression change. I only felt the distance and blamed her for it. I whispered, "Good night." She didn't answer. In my mind, I finished the sentence myself. This life should feel better than it does. I told myself I deserved more attention. I told myself she was the reason I felt alone. I never considered that the emptiness came from me. I drifted to sleep thinking my thoughts were safe. They weren't. They were already becoming something else. I noticed it during breakfast, when my fork paused midair. "You don't like eggs?" I asked. She shook her head. In my mind, I thought, of course you don't. You barely like anything. Her eyes flicked up sharply. I frowned. "What?" She looked away. I laughed. "You're jumpy today." Inside, something tightened, then loosened. Coincidence. Later, in the living room, I said, "You can sit anywhere." She sat across from me. I thought, always watching. She shifted, crossing her arms. "Cold?" I asked. She nodded slowly. I shrugged it off. Rich houses are drafty. In the afternoon, her father called. "How is married life?" he asked. "Peaceful," I said. I glanced at her. "Very peaceful." He paused. "She adjusting?" "She's fine," I replied. "She doesn't complain." In my head, I added, "She can't." After the call, she stood near the window. "You heard that, right?" I asked. She nodded. "Good." I thought, as long as you stay quiet. Her shoulders stiffened. I stared. "You okay?" She turned and nodded again, quicker this time. That evening, we ate in silence. "You don't talk much," I said. That was cruel, and I knew it. In my mind, I pushed further. "You're useless without words." Her hand trembled. My heart skipped. "Did you hurt yourself?" She shook her head, gripping the fork tighter. I forced a smile. "Sorry. Bad joke." Inside, unease crawled up my spine. At night, we sat on the bed. "I'll read," I said. "You sleep." She didn't move. I thought, dependent. That's what you are. She stood abruptly. "What?" I asked. She picked up a notebook from the table. My chest tightened. "You write now." She hesitated, then put it down. "Never mind," I said quickly. "You don't have to." I laughed, too loud. "I'm just tired." She lay down, facing away. I stared at the ceiling. This is stupid, I thought. She can't hear me. I tested it. In my head, I said, "I don't love you." Her breathing changed. I sat up. "Did you hear something?" She stayed still. I swallowed. Coincidence. The next day, it got worse. We walked past a mirror. I thought, "You look empty." She stopped walking. "Why'd you stop?" I asked. She touched her chest lightly. My mouth went dry. I laughed again. "You're sensitive today." I wasn't laughing inside. That night, rain hit the windows. "You afraid of storms?" I asked. She shook her head. In my mind, I said, "Liar." She flinched. I stood. "Okay. That's enough." I paced. "You're acting strange." She watched me calmly. I snapped. "Say something." The silence pressed harder. I thought, if you could talk, you'd accuse me. She reached for the notebook again. "Don't," I said. She froze. "Why now?" I asked. "What do you want to say?" She opened it anyway and wrote slowly. I watched each word form. "You don't have to say it out loud." My blood ran cold. "What?" I whispered. She turned the notebook toward me. I stepped back. "That's vague." My heart pounded. I thought, she's guessing. I forced a smile. "You write like a poet." She erased the page. Then she wrote again. "You think I am weak?" My legs felt heavy. "That's not." I stopped. I laughed nervously. "Everyone thinks things." She watched me without blinking. "You're just reading faces," I said. "People do that." I nodded to convince myself. "You can't hear thoughts," I added quickly. I turned away. This is paranoia. I told myself I was tired. I told myself silence plays tricks. I told myself fear makes patterns. Behind me, she closed the notebook. I didn't look back. If I did, I might have believed. I lay awake repeating one truth. I imagined everything. I had to. I stopped being careful once I convinced myself I was right. "You're quiet today," I said at breakfast. She didn't react. In my mind, I sneered, "You're always quiet. That's all you're good at." Her eyes lifted slowly, cold now, not confused. "What?" I asked. "I'm talking to you." She looked away. I smiled to myself. Power felt warm. Later that day, my phone buzzed. "Still alive?" my friend asked when I answered. "Better than alive," I said. "I married into silence and money." He laughed. "You sound proud." "I am," I replied. He lowered his voice. "Be careful." "With what?" "With people who don't speak," he said. "They see more." I rolled my eyes. "You're overthinking." "Just saying," he replied. "Don't treat her like furniture." I ended the call. I thought, advice is for people who struggle. That afternoon, I met her. The other woman smiled when she saw me. "You look relaxed," she said. "Married life suits me," I replied. She raised an eyebrow. "Really?" "She doesn't talk," I said casually. "No drama." "That sounds lonely." "It's peaceful," I corrected. In my head, I added, "and temporary." She leaned closer. "Does she mind you being here?" "She won't even notice," I said. The words tasted wrong, but I swallowed them. "You're cruel," she said softly. I smirked. "I'm honest." When I returned home, my wife was waiting. "You're back early," I said. She stood from the sofa, eyes sharp. I thought, "Don't glare. You can't accuse." "I met a friend," I added. She nodded once. I went on, "A woman." Her jaw tightened. "Relax," I said. "It was nothing." In my mind, I laughed. "You don't get to be jealous." She walked past me without looking. Dinner was cold. "You didn't eat?" I asked. She shook her head. "Suit yourself." I sat alone, enjoying the food. She watched from the doorway. "What?" I asked. "Hungry now." She didn't move. I thought, "You need me more than I need you." That night, I spoke freely. "You know," I said, "this marriage won't last forever." She froze. "I'll make enough," I continued. "Then we'll both be free." In my head, I planned numbers, timelines, exits. She turned slowly. "You'll be fine," I added. "Your family will protect you." I thought I won't. She walked away. Days passed. She grew colder. She stopped sitting close. She stopped reacting. That should have pleased me. Instead, it unsettled me. One evening, my friend visited. "She seems different," he said quietly. "She's adjusting," I replied. He looked at me. "Or preparing." "For what?" "For leaving," he said. I laughed. "She wouldn't." "She might," he replied. "Silence hides plans." I dismissed him. That night, I caught her writing. "What's that?" I asked. She closed the notebook. "Nothing," I said. "You don't need secrets." In my mind, I added, "I already know everything." She held the notebook tighter. I stepped closer. "You don't have much without this marriage." Her eyes hardened. I thought, "See, truth hurts." I went to bed confident. I dreamed of freedom, of money, of a life without watching eyes. Beside me, she lay awake. I didn't notice the way her fingers moved, slow and precise. I didn't notice the calm in her breathing. I didn't notice the resolve settling in. I believed silence meant weakness. I believed love had limits. I believed betrayal required words. I was wrong about all of it. I had become careless. And she was done listening. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. "You're home late," I said. She nodded once. I laughed lightly. "Don't worry. I ate already." Inside my head, I thought, "You waited anyway." She walked to the table and placed the notebook down. "What's that?" I asked. "Another secret." She opened it slowly. I watched, annoyed. "You don't have to write everything." In my mind, I added, "You can't accuse me." She turned the page toward me. You enjoyed lying today. My breath caught. That's vague, I said. You've been reading too much into things. She flipped the page. You told her I was nothing. My stomach dropped. I didn't say that, I replied quickly. My thoughts raced. She's guessing. She has to be. She wrote again. You thought I wouldn't feel it. My hands shook. You're imagining this, I said. You don't know what I think. She stood and walked closer, calm, steady. I stepped back. She pointed to her temple, then to her chest. I swallowed. What are you saying? She wrote. I hear you here. My legs felt weak. That's not possible, I said. No one can do that. She tilted her head. Then she wrote again. I heard you on our wedding night. My mouth went dry. You're lying, I whispered. She shook her head once. I laughed, desperate. This is a joke. Some kind of test. She didn't react. She kept writing. You called me convenient. You planned to leave. You thought silence meant ignorance. Each line landed like a strike. Stop, I said. She kept going. You flirted because you thought I was blind. You stayed because of money, not me. I grabbed the notebook. Enough. My hands trembled as I stared at the words. You can't prove this, I said. You're manipulating me. She took the notebook back gently. She wrote slower this time. I stayed silent because words would not save us. My chest tightened. You could have said something, I snapped. You let this happen. She looked at me, eyes clear. Then she wrote. I wanted you to choose better on your own. That hurt more than anger. So this is punishment? I asked. She shook her head. I laughed bitterly. Then what is it? She wrote. This is truth. I sank onto the chair. You heard everything, I muttered. She nodded. All of it? I asked. She hesitated, then nodded again. My voice cracked. Why didn't you leave? She paused longer this time. I waited, heart pounding. She wrote. Because I loved you. The words sat there, simple and devastating. You loved me. I whispered. She nodded. I felt exposed, naked. You heard me hate you, I said. You heard me use you. Her eyes softened, not in forgiveness, but in understanding. I pressed my palms to my face. I didn't mean it. Even as I said it, I knew how weak it sounded. She wrote again. You meant it when you thought it. Silence filled the room. I thought thoughts didn't matter, I said. I thought only actions counted. She shook her head. She wrote. Thoughts are where actions are born. I looked up at her. Why stay silent? She gestured around us. Then she wrote. Words are loud. Silence shows who people are. My chest burned. You watched me become this, I said. She nodded. And you still loved me? I asked. She hesitated. Then she wrote. I loved who you could have been. That broke something inside me. I failed, I said. She didn't deny it. I stood slowly. So what now? She closed the notebook. She stepped closer. For the first time, she touched my hand. I flinched. She looked into my eyes and mouthed 3 words without sound. I love you. I pulled my hand away. Tears blurred my vision. I don't deserve that, I said. She didn't argue. She turned and walked away. I stood there, shaking. My secrets were gone. My lies were useless. My silence was louder than hers had ever been. For the first time, I understood. She never needed a voice. She had always heard mine, and I had destroyed everything with it. The house felt colder the next morning. You don't have to follow me, I said. She stopped walking. I meant it, I added. I can handle breakfast alone. She nodded and turned back. That hurt more than I expected. At the table, a servant placed 1 plate instead of 2. Where's my wife? I asked. She requested separate arrangements, the maid said. My chest tightened. Since when? Since today, she replied. I forced a smile. Fine. Inside my head, I begged, please don't start this. Later, her father called me into his office. Sit, he said. I obeyed. She has decided to limit access, he continued. Access to what? I asked. To everything, he replied calmly. My throat went dry. I'm her husband. He looked at me. You were. I leaned forward. This is temporary, right? He folded his hands. That depends on her. I nodded quickly. I'll apologize. He shook his head. She doesn't want words. That stung. I walked out feeling smaller. I tried calling her. No answer. I texted. No reply. In my mind, I screamed, I didn't know. I swear. That afternoon, my card declined. I stared at the machine. Try again, I said. The cashier shook her head. I laughed weakly. Must be a glitch. It wasn't. I walked outside and called my friend. Hey, I said. Something's wrong. He sighed. I heard. Heard what? I asked. That she pulled back, he replied. Completely. So you won't help me? I asked. He paused. I warned you. The line went dead. I stood there alone. I called the other woman. She answered once. I can't do this, she said quickly. What? I asked. You're not safe anymore, she replied. Safe? I laughed. From who? From her, she said. Don't call me again. She hung up. I stared at my phone. Everyone vanished at once. At home, my room was empty. Closets cleared. Drawers bare. She had erased herself without noise. I sat on the bed. This isn't fair, I whispered. Silence answered. I thought, you heard worse than this. That night, I knocked on her door. Please, I said. Just listen. No response. I'm sorry, I added. Inside my head, I begged louder than words. I replayed every thought I'd hidden. Every insult. Every plan to leave. Every moment of pride. I realized she heard it all. I slid down the door and sat on the floor. I didn't know comfort could feel like this, I muttered. The walls felt too wide. The bed too cold. The money too distant. Days passed. No messages. No protection. Bills arrived. I sold my watch. Then my suit. I remembered thinking she was dependent. I laughed bitterly at that. One evening, I found a note. Not from her. From her father. You will stand on your own now. I crumpled it. I wanted to scream. Instead, I whispered, I understand. I didn't. I sat in the empty room and spoke to no one. I was lonely, I said. I was scared, I continued. I didn't think love mattered, I admitted. The silence didn't forgive me. It reminded me. I lay on the floor staring at the ceiling. I thought of her eyes. Calm. Patient. Listening. I thought of how safe I felt when I believed I was unseen. I finally understood the punishment. She took nothing I didn't give away. She removed comfort, not life. She left me with myself. I curled my fingers into the carpet. I regret everything, I said aloud. No one answered. I deserved that. Karma didn't shout. It waited. And it arrived quietly, just like she always had. I closed my eyes and accepted the truth. Comfort was never happiness. Silence was never weakness. And regret comes only after everything else is gone. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror anymore. You've changed, I muttered aloud, though no one answered. I stopped buying suits. I stopped eating at restaurants just for show. Breakfast, the maid called, but I didn't bother. Work kept me busy, not for money, not for pride, but to prove I could be someone I didn't hate. I walked through the city streets, avoiding luxury shops. This is harder than I thought, I said aloud. I ran into her one morning in the park. She was reading a book. She didn't look up. Morning, I said. She nodded once. That was all. Inside, I admitted, I miss hearing you. I knelt to tie my shoelaces. I have to earn myself again, I muttered. She stayed silent, eyes following me. Watching. I thought, she's judging me. Good. I met my friend that afternoon. You really changed, he said. I have to, I replied. I can't be the man I was. You still want her back? No, I said firmly. I want to be someone she could respect, even if she never speaks to me again. He nodded. Then you're on the right path. Days turned into weeks. I worked longer hours, helped strangers without thinking, stopped hiding behind arrogance. I ran into her again at the library. Hi, I said softly. She didn't reply. She didn't have to. I noticed a notebook beside her. Her pen moved slowly. Curiosity made me glance. She wrote something. I caught only one word. My name. I froze. I thought, she's writing it. For herself? Or for me? She looked up. Eyes calm, unblinking. Then she closed the notebook without showing me. I swallowed. Hope flickered. I whispered, I didn't deserve you. She didn't answer. She never did. Later, I walked through the neighborhood where we first met. I laughed bitterly. I was an idiot. I worked, I struggled, I faced failures without blaming anyone. Each day, I spoke to myself. I have to change for me. I stopped comparing myself to her wealth. I stopped wanting admiration. You can't demand forgiveness, I admitted aloud one night, staring at the ceiling. I imagined her reading silently, always observing, always patient. One afternoon, I saw her in the garden. Hello, I said quietly. She didn't respond. She simply handed me a piece of paper from her notebook. I opened it. My name. No words beyond that. Just my name. I stared at it, my chest tightening. I whispered, You're still here, even in silence. She nodded once. Eyes calm, observing. I realized then forgiveness isn't something you take. It's something you earn silently. You never needed to speak, I said inside my head. I understand now. Days later, I caught myself smiling at the thought of becoming a better man. I worked harder, longer, and humbler than ever. Money, power, comfort, none of it mattered. Only the man I was becoming mattered. I passed her again at the park. She waved a hand subtly. Nothing else. I nodded. My heart ached, but differently. No bitterness. No anger. Only understanding. You'll never know how much you changed me, I whispered inside. She didn't respond aloud. She didn't have to. She walked away. I watched her leave. And for the first time, I felt I could face myself. I folded my hands. I'll keep earning it. Every day. Her eyes followed me once more, calm and unwavering. I smiled faintly. I didn't need her forgiveness yet. I only needed to become worthy of it. I whispered to the wind, I'll get there. Slowly, but I will. And I began again, truly this time, not for pride, not for comfort, but for the man I hoped to become. I stood at the edge of the garden, hands in my pockets, staring at the flowers she had always loved. You're here, I said quietly, though I already knew. She didn't respond at first. She just watched me. Calm, measured, unshaken. I didn't expect you, I stammered. She smiled faintly. Not warm, not bitter, just steady. You've changed, she said finally. Her voice was soft, deliberate. I swallowed. I had to. I had no choice. Her eyes narrowed slightly. You had choices. You chose poorly. I flinched, remembering every lie, every thought she had read. I know, I whispered. She stepped closer. You think I didn't hear it? Every cruel word. I thought you wouldn't understand, I admitted. She shook her head. I understood perfectly. My chest tightened. I never meant to hurt you like that. Her lips pressed together. She exhaled slowly. You believed silence would protect you. I did, I said. I thought if you couldn't speak, nothing could hurt me. Her eyes glimmered with unshed tears. My silence never protected you. It only let you show who you truly were. I looked away. Shame burned hotter than anything I had felt before. She knelt and picked a flower. You wanted comfort. You wanted safety. You took it and crushed it under your arrogance. I was selfish, I whispered, voice breaking. She looked at me fully now, her gaze softening but resolute. Even after all that, I loved you. I froze. The words hung in the air, fragile, impossible. You did. I asked, voice barely audible. She nodded. Even when you hated me. Even when you plotted to leave. Even when you used others to satisfy your ego. I swallowed hard. Why? How could you? Because love doesn't always make sense, she said. I stayed because I saw the man you could become. The one buried under the arrogance and cruelty. Tears pricked my eyes. I wanted to reach for her, to beg, to undo every wrong. But I didn't. I knew it was too late. She shook her head gently. I can't undo the pain. I can't pretend it didn't happen. I can't forgive myself for letting you think silence meant weakness. I tried to speak, but words failed. Her hand hovered near mine but didn't touch. I love you, she whispered finally, the words trembling in the quiet evening. My knees felt weak. Then why leave me? Because loving you doesn't mean I could stay, she said softly. Because self-preservation matters when the heart has been shattered. Because sometimes love isn't enough to save someone who refuses to save themselves. I fell to my knees in the grass. I don't deserve this, I whispered. You deserved the truth, she said. You got it. Her voice, so soft and yet so clear, pierced through years of arrogance, lies, and denial. I should have listened, I admitted. I should have seen you, felt you, before I lost everything. You did see me, she said. You just refused to understand. You only understood when you had nothing left to lose. I bowed my head. I hated who I was. I hate what I did. She knelt beside me, her eyes unwavering. Then change, truly. Not for me, not for revenge, not for comfort, but for yourself. I will, I said, tears falling freely now. She reached out, brushing a hand against my shoulder. I cannot go back. You cannot go back. We cannot undo the past. But you can be different. You can be better. I nodded, trembling. I promise I'll try. Her lips curved faintly. I always believed you could. I just waited for you to see it yourself. The silence returned, heavy and honest. I love you, she whispered again, this time holding my gaze. I couldn't speak. My voice caught. My heart ached. My soul felt empty and full all at once. I love you, she repeated, louder, firm now, a single declaration that carried everything and nothing at the same time. I know, I whispered. I know. Her hand retreated. She rose slowly, graceful and resolute. Goodbye, she said. I nodded, unable to stop the tears. She walked away. I remained in the garden, watching her disappear into the distance. The wind stirred, carrying the scent of the flowers she loved. I sat on the grass, chest tight, heart shattered and strangely healed. I had lost her, but I had found myself. And for the first time, I understood the weight of love, the cost of selfishness, and the depth of true loss. Her words echoed in my mind. I love you. But too late. I whispered them back into the empty air. And for the first time, I meant them entirely. I wake before the sun now. Another day, I mutter to myself, tying my shoes. No silk sheets. No polished floors. Just the small apartment I earned. I pour coffee and sip slowly. This is mine, I whisper. Every drop. I walk to work. Every step reminds me that nothing is borrowed anymore. A colleague greets me. Morning. Morning, I reply genuinely. I pass the luxury shops I once craved. I glance, then look away. Not mine. Not anymore. During lunch, I eat alone. No one waits. No one judges. Just me and my thoughts. I think about her. Often. I can't go back, I say softly. Her words echo, clear and calm. I love you. I wince. Not from anger, but from knowing. I remember the garden. Her hand on my shoulder. The notebook. Every confession she wrote. Every truth I ignored. I deserved that, I whisper. I pass the fountain near our old park. I sit on the bench. A woman nearby smiles at me. I nod politely but walk past. I'm not looking for comfort. I'm not looking for validation. I think about the man I was. The arrogance. The cruelty. The selfishness. I was blind, I say aloud. And cruel. And weak. Then I think about the man I am becoming. Better, I whisper. Slower, humbler, careful with words and thoughts alike. I carry her love as a scar. A lesson. I speak to strangers, help quietly, give without expectation. This is real, I say. Finally real. I walk past the cafe where I once met the other woman. I don't linger. I don't crave attention. I feel the absence of her, but not as pain. Not fully. I think she chose herself. She had every right. I smile faintly, a shadow of peace. At work, I stay late. I finish tasks not to impress, not to escape, but because I can. I stop at a crosswalk, listening to the city. Cars hum, people chatter. I inhale. This life is mine, I whisper. Earned, not borrowed. I think of her one last time today. The words she spoke aloud, and those she never did. I will live them, I say. All of them. The truths. The mistakes. The love. The lessons. I pass a playground and watch children play. I remember my childhood, my dreams, my failures. I'm learning, I admit aloud. Every day, a little more. I stop at the bookstore, glance at a title she once held. I smile faintly, put it back. No longing, just acknowledgement. I walk home, hands in pockets, head high. Not arrogant, not ashamed, just aware. At my apartment, I sit by the window. The city stretches below me. Alive, chaotic, honest. I whisper, I'm ready. Ready to face the man I was, the man I am, and the man I will become. I carry her words in my mind, her love in my heart, her lesson in my soul. I am alone, but not lonely. I made my choices. I faced the consequences. I live honestly now, for myself, without illusions. I reflect. Comfort was borrowed. Status was borrowed. Money was borrowed. Life wasn't. I sip my coffee again. Quiet satisfaction. I smile faintly. This is enough. The sun rises fully. I watch it, steady, patient. I walk into the day. Each step mine, earned through humility and truth. I think of her one last time. Thank you, I whisper. No hope for reunion. No desire for revenge. Just life. Earned. Honest. Mine. And for the first time in years, I feel it. Peace. I sit back, eyes on the horizon, breathing fully, truly alive. The past is gone. The lessons remain. I whisper, I am free. And for the first time, I truly am.